If you get the opportunity to do it right. If you think design's expensive, you should see the cost of free design. Hi, I'm Donnie Bronner, owner and CEO at Paragon 360. Welcome to the Paragon Angle. Today, we're going to talk about design of audio, video, and lighting systems. Design isn't optional. It's essential. Yet some wonder, why am I being charged for this when others offer it for free? The truth? If an integrator isn't doing design work, they're just selling a pile of gear with zero accountability. If they claim it's free, they're likely bearing the cost elsewhere as opposed to being transparent. Or most commonly, they're letting manufacturers design it for them, meaning the design is driven by sales, not solutions. At Paragon 360, we don't let manufacturers dictate our designs. We're looking at so much more than gear specifications. It's a holistic approach. So if it's an audio system, for instance, we're considering acoustics and sightlines, weight restrictions and rigging, aesthetics, networking, clean power, integration with other systems, and more. Our job is to design and create the right system for your space, not just sell equipment. Now, don't get me wrong, many of these manufacturers, they're really smart folks, industry pros. We have a ton of friends in that world. They're very knowledgeable, but they're knowledgeable about their product, as they should be. But they're not an integrator with the responsibility of the entire project. Bottom line, your integrators should be doing the design work, not the manufacturer. In fact, your manufacturers will tell you the same thing. Over the last decade and a half, we've picked up relationships with almost every major speaker manufacturer, for instance. In the beginning, several of them would make it very clear that they would be driving the design work on a lot of this project. We pushed back on that. After they worked with Paragon's design team, they realized that was not necessary. They're blown away by the talented veterans that we have on staff. In fact, in some cases, we've even corrected some of their theories on stuff and helped them with the design of some of their products. Manufacturers are not involved in the design aspect of our projects at all, unless it's just answering questions about a few specific things about their product. They respect that about Paragon. But the whole reason they came out and said we're going to be involved in the design work initially is because most integrators don't have that design talent on staff, so they have to rely on the manufacturer. As an integrator, however, there's much more that goes into that. An integrator has a much higher level of accountability if they're really there on behalf of the client to get it right the first time and meet the objectives. It's the integrator's job to understand where the client is in their journey and where they're going. It's not good stewardship for us to sell you systems you don't need. It's just good stewardship on the client's end. If you're going to spend donated dollars that the congregation or a donor has entrusted you with, you better make sure that you get it right. And I can tell you, with today's systems, it's easier to get it wrong than it is to get it right. Again, in the audio realm, can't tell you how many times we've seen audio systems installed not rigged correctly, which creates a big liability. Clean power was not designed into the mix, and clean audio starts with clean power, right? And no one dealt with acoustics. So people mistakenly think the new PA is horrible. Well, it's not the PA. What's missing here? Design. Now, I keep using the audio example, but it's the same for video and lighting. In lighting, there's color, temperature, angles and locations of lighting for video, reflections, architectural lighting control systems, access to lighting positions, which gets back into rigging. With video, it's all about format conversion and switching and routing design, understanding broadcast audio, using LED walls as backgrounds in iMag, and dealing with all the lensing and refresh rates and so on. Good quality design brings great value to the project. And remember, stewardship is about how much money you don't waste, not how much you saved on the purchase price. It's focusing on value instead of price. Design takes a high level of expertise. It takes time, careful analysis, and straight-up talent. It takes a veteran with a much broader perspective than just one company's gear specifications. It takes someone that understands the true integration of systems, someone that's worked in hundreds of spaces and understands the impact that room layouts and ceilings and balconies are going to have on the performance of systems. They truly understand the church, they've dug deep into the DNA, and they understand the objectives at a high level. Without excellent design, even the best gear can offer inferior results. And I can honestly tell you, we see the results of systems that were not designed well all the time. And it's tragic considering how hard funding is becoming in the church space. If you get the opportunity to do it right. If you think design's expensive, you should see the cost of free design. And at Paragon, we fix free design. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you on the next Paragon Angle.